guys, I'm riding the CRF because I don't have a Super Tenere anymore. I really miss that bike, and the weird part is that the new owner put it for sale almost immediately. See this pickup truck in front of me? He is scrapping. These are some of the guys that run around this area picking up like old metal and just taking it to the recycling thing and getting paid for that. And you know, it's like one of those jobs, you make it out of nothing. You got a pickup truck, you got a job. Now that I don't have the Super Tenere, it's like I don't know, I need something a little bit sprightlier. This is great, but you know, I've had several 250s, mostly the Kawasaki Ninja 250s, and I think I put like 87,000 on one. You know, I do like this bike a lot, and I've been looking for one of these for a while, but I can't really ride this thing in a day to West Virginia and back and do like 400, 500 miles. And you're very much limited by the type of riders you ride with. So if you ride with sport bike guys, this thing is just going to feel like it's falling apart. There's nothing wrong with it, but you can't go fast on it. It's not like a bike for fast type of riding. And I also like the idea of going around corners a little bit faster. And the problem with this, with the 21-inch front wheels, it never feels like a bike that rails around corners. I think that's why the 19-inch front, 17 rear just feels so good in most real-world places. V-Strom 650, Super Tenere, BMW GS, they all have the 19-inch fronts, and I think that's what I really like. But the 21-inch is great for off-roading. And this bike, I think if I'm doing off-roading, I want this. It's efficient, but my idea of using this is trailing it to a, Colorado, a part of it, exploring roads and trails on it, and then putting it back on the trailer and going back. Another thing I saw yesterday was a guy on a motorcycle in Maryland without a helmet. Beautiful, luscious hair. And he ran the red light. So, yeah, no helmet, nothing. Ran the red light. Beautiful hair. And he didn't have the dignity to even have a COVID mask. So, I guess he can be recognized. This is the worst bike for the highway like this. I'm going at 61. This bike feels like it's going to explode. Definitely the maximum I really like doing on this bike is 55. But for short distances it can cope. But the problem is when you live in the DC area, it's just like high-speed highways all the time. You know, for these type of roads, you might not think this, but these roads are kind of rough. Even though it's like the nation's capital, the roads are falling apart, especially in DC. This is actually one of the benefits. If you really enjoy city riding, this bike really is almost perfect. I prefer a bigger bike just because of the shaft drive, but it's very easy to ride in the city because it's very maneuverable. It's very thin, so you can lane split. But the problem, when you live in a major metropolitan area like DC, you also have the issue of stealing. People will steal this bike. But when you live in an area like this that's just full of crime, and crime is rising, and you hear people getting jacked all the time, the armed car robberies, carjackings has just skyrocketed. This bike, if you take it in the right area and at the right time, you will get jacked. Another really great benefit of this bike is the incredible mileage it gets. Dual sports have always been efficient, but this one, because it's fuel injected, I calculated the mileage to be 88 miles to the gallon. Unfortunately, I haven't taken this thing off-road yet. But you know, around this sort of traffic, this bike, even though it's a dual sport, it's exceedingly good because you sit up on it very upright. I've always liked this sort of seating position for all my bikes. You know, the Super Tenere is like that. It's got a very commanding presence of the road. But when you have something like this, you can kind of look around. It's easy to see mirrors. There's no hunched forward position. It's so tall that you can see over cars, with the exception of minivans, SUVs. So in a way, it does feel safer. But it is still, I think it's a thief magnet. And riding around DC, it's cool because you don't really feel any of these bumps. It's a bike that's just so easy to ride. Like, you don't even have to be an expert to ride this thing. You gotta say, oh wow, buses are back in DC. I actually haven't seen this sight in a very long time. I thought that guy had a really white face, but he's still wearing a mask. Look at this, and it's like 100 degrees out. It's like suffocating to breathe, and that guy's got a freaking nappy on his head. See, like these potholes? Nothing to it. It actually feels kind of cool to hit these potholes. Look at that. Nothing. Nothing. The bike doesn't shake. Like any other bike, you would feel those potholes quite a bit. But this thing, look at that pothole. Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, they cleaned up that thing. Even planted flowers. Look at these tents. These guys have a good setup. That's actually like prime real estate for camping. You know, maybe I should do that. You know, I can't afford to live downtown. So I figure, what if I just get a tent and I camp downtown? You know, honestly, I'd be a perfect homeless guy. Thank you for giving me a comfy harness and for slowing down to let me smell the roses. Oh, that's from pita. I never liked pita bread. You know, when you ride a motorcycle in the summertime and it's like 100 degrees out, you don't really need to invest your money in saunas. You know, Joe Rogan is always like, sauna, sauna, sauna. So good for you. But, I mean, seriously, the best thing is possibly just riding a motorcycle. Hey, there's a motorcycle behind me. I think that's a small bike. That's a 300 or something. Hey, buddy. Look at him. What is that? 49cc? What is... That's not 49cc, buddy. But it sounds cool. That's like a Chinese one. Let me see if I can catch up with him. He's probably going to go in between. You know, the only downside of this bike, it's kind of like wide around the handlebar. See, yeah, that's not a 50cc. Go ahead. Oh, go. Pass the bus, buddy. Oh, come on. What are you doing? This guy passed me not to speed up? Seriously? Why are you going so slow? What are you doing? What is he doing? Come on, don't pass the bus. What are you doing? It's crazy. I have no idea what he's doing. It seems so weird. Okay. Now he's speeding up. Like, okay. That didn't make a lot of sense. Hey, what kind of bike is that? What bike is it? I couldn't understand them. Yeah, you know, that's the thing about this bike. It doesn't have like the grunt to kind of just go full on. I'm seeing a lot of bikes here that have like 100 something cc's, but they put like a tag on the back says 49. But technically nowadays you need it's like a sticker that the motor vehicle gives you. And this is oh, he's going to the right. Yeah, that thing was like a 200. Oh, look at this jerkwad. Alright, I'm gonna go this way. That's nasty of this minivan to go over 2 lanes. Like around this area, you do have issues with drivers who are overly aggressive. What's happening? Oh, come on. That minivan is really aggressive. Man, this is what they do in DC. They just, oh, we're gonna turn every road into like a fluctuating, flexible road, and then tourists are gonna sort it out. They're gonna sort it out. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.